You can buy it, possess it, and smoke it in the state of Washington, but you'd better not drive stoned. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nadine Woodward. There is a new safety concern on Washington's roads, and it has law enforcement cracking down on impaired drivers high on pot. KXY4's Allie Norton live tonight overlooking Interstate 90 with her special report on driving high. So, Allie, how do the numbers stack up?
Well, Nadine, these roads are seeing more and more people driving high. Just how much, though? Well, based on information from the Washington State Patrol, it's nothing too drastic. Still, more cases are coming in, so we set out to find out just what happens when someone is caught driving high and follow along every step of the way. For Trooper Joe Leibrecht,
771 3rd Ultimate.
getting impaired drivers off the road is personal.
And we'll make a stop here.
Before he was a trooper with the Washington State Patrol, he was a teacher. But after one too many tragedies,
Actually had 5 students that were either killed or directly impacted by impaired drivers.
he changed careers, hoping to make a difference. Tonight, Leibrecht watches for people driving high, a reality since recreational marijuana was legalized.
The reason I'm stopping you is after you made that lane change from that left lane out to the right lane, you drifted back over a couple times. I didn't know what was going on up here.
Much like alcohol impairment, people suspected of driving high are asked to do a series of tests, from checking eye movements to having you walk a line to see your balance. If officers rule out alcohol and think drugs are involved, they'll need blood for evidence. Unlike alcohol, there's no on-site test like a breathalyzer that gives fast results for marijuana consumption. Instead, officers have to get a search warrant signed by a judge to draw blood. All liquid specimens taken in the state end up here at the toxicology lab in Seattle. Specialists test the blood to find if there were any drugs used, and if so, what. For marijuana, they're looking for THC, the active component that causes the effects. Specialists say it takes about 4 hours to test, not as easy as when they're just looking for alcohol.
THC is more complex, so it's harder to do the testing and it's more complex interpretation of the results.
In 2012, almost 1,000 of these tests came back positive for THC statewide. A year later, nearly 400 more. A trend that they're trying to keep up with.
In an increased caseload, we have limited resources.
While the state numbers for 2014 aren't in yet, the Spokane County Prosecutor's Office is sure it will be more.
In your case, this is one count of driving under the influence as a charge.
The number of cases they saw the first part of this year was getting ready to surpass last year's amount. Officials say from January to June, there had already been 78 marijuana cases in the county. In 2013, there were 89. In 2012, only 34. Marijuana hadn't even hit retail stores yet when these numbers came out. So there could be more than double from last year by the end of this year.
So based on the stipulation, I do find probable cause for the charge.
Also meaning a boom in business for attorneys who defend the accused. Spokane attorney Steve Graham says his office used to take on about 5 marijuana cases a year. Now that number has doubled since the passage of I-502.
It used to be 20 years ago when I first started this, there really wasn't any such thing as a marijuana DUI.
While there is an increase, marijuana-related DUIs only make up 4% of all DUIs. Alcohol still leads the pack with a whopping 83.5%, and other drugs making up the remaining 12.5%. Although the numbers are different, law enforcement say the effects are the same.
Their time delay is slowed, and their awareness of their surroundings are slowed.
That's why if you ask any officer, it doesn't matter what kind of DUI it is. If they find you under the influence, they just want you off the road. This former teacher hopes no one else will have to learn about the reality of DUIs the hard way, and hopes all of us will help find those drivers.
That's well worth my time, and that's what we're out here to do, so we appreciate those phone calls.
And now one of the most popular questions we've been asked is just how much marijuana needs to be consumed for your blood to reach the 5 nanogram limit of THC. Now that is the per se limit that has been set by the state. We asked the toxicology lab and they said even if you take one puff, your blood is going to have 5 nanograms of THC at some point. So moral of the story, if you're going to consume marijuana, whether it be smoke, eat, any other way, call a cab or designate a driver. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Allie Norton, KXLY 4 News.
Great.